I am Caleb Webster Alt. This is for FTT-114 Week 2 Assignment 1. So just to go over everything, there are 3 requirements for this video. First being it says I need to submit a multimedia video or at least 2 high-resolution images of my building process, including the following steps, which are 2, the materials for the press laid out prior to assembly, and 3, the finished press. So, slight problem here. I already built my press. I honestly don't know how I would have recorded it anyway, just because I didn't have the proper tools to do so. But I can show you all the stuff I used to build it. So, first off, you're going to want 10 of your normal wood screws. I had a whole box of wood screws already laying around from previous projects. I like fish, so I had to build some fish tank stands, and then it never happened, so I had a whole box of screws for nothing, and you only need 10 of them for this project. So 10 wood screws, and then some wood glue. I had wood glue on the top of my fridge in my house, so I just used Gorilla Wood glue. I was trying to not spend a bunch of money. I still spent like $100-something to make this press. I didn't have the proper cutting utensils, like at all, so I literally had to use a foldable saw. So this is what I used, literally, a folding saw, and good metal ruler for a good straight edge. And I think the only reason it was doable to actually cut somewhat of a straight line is because these have a really thick, rigid blade, so you can control left to right, you know, like what side you're cutting on. So it wasn't like a hard time. I cut a straight line, you know, at least straight enough that to make a press, which I'll show you here in a second. But so 10 screws. You're gonna need wood glue, as well as a 3/4 inch sheet of plywood. This was a 4 foot by 2 foot piece. I spent like $42 too much for this piece of wood. Okay, this is sandal ply, so it's not like your most expensive. I don't know wood, but I don't think it's like a heavy duty wood. This is just for this. So this is just 3/4 inch 2x4 ply. And essentially what I did was I took this and that ruler, I drew up my lines, took the dimensions into consideration, drew it all out, and then I took that folding saw and I cut it. So how did I cut it, right? How do you cut a board with a folding saw? So what I did was I took this board, and I also had to purchase some cheap clamps for the press, and don't buy these clamps. These are made by Hyper Tough. They're complete trash. Don't buy them. At least not for this class. If you're gonna get clamps for this class, spend a little extra money. I just didn't have the money. But I literally had to use these clamps, and I clamped it to any surface at all. I clamped it to that wall at one point to make a cut. It made a huge mess in the house because wood shavings, it just gets everywhere. So I then had to take it outside, and I on our lean-to off of the house, we got poles. So I just clamped it to the poles, and I made cuts. So clamps are your best friend, and this is why they're garbage. See, it slips. After a couple times of use, they stop really holding too good. They don't squeeze very strong either. Get a DeWalt clamp or something name brand. Besides the 3/4 inch plywood, you're gonna need a 2x4. I wasn't gonna go out and buy a brand new 2x4 for, a little project. In the instructions, it says you literally only need an 8-inch piece of it, and so you're not gonna find an 8-inch piece of 2x4 for sale. So, and like I said, I wasn't buying a whole 2x4 for 8-inch pieces. Speaking of that, I did not go along with the instructions. it does specify that because it comes with 8-inch by 12-inch thermoforming foam, that it wants you to build the press around that. Like, it wants you to build an 8-inch by 12-inch press. Well, I just didn't think that was necessary. I went ahead and I just built a 12-inch by 12-inch press because I'll use this foam that it comes with. If I ever get new foam, I'll probably just buy 12 by 12-inch thermoforming foam for it. So I just stuck with a 12-inch by 12-inch press to keep it simple, dimensional wise. Here's the book. I got it all from this book, as well as a piece of paper. I tried to find it for this video, but I couldn't find it because I wanted to at least show it for demonstration. But I could not find the instructions on how to build the press. So other things that you're going to need besides the 2x4, which the 2x4, keep in mind, I found outside. We got like pallets and stuff. I just harvested a 2x4 off a pallet. Also, you're going to need hardware, so like bolts and nuts. So I'm going to show you the press that I actually built. Here's the thermoforming foam, or at least one side that come with. Just toss that. So here it is. This is the back side. This is the front. That's how it looks. So in the instructions, it clearly states that you're going to have a base piece. You're going to take another cut out of the 3/4 inch plywood, and you're going to cut it around the same diameter of a 2x4. You're going to get that extra width, that extra height, because this thermoforming foam, it's too thick. So you need this. Don't forget this part. You need to cut out a piece just like the size of a 2x4. 2x4 goes on top. There is glue in between each of them. So I smeared glue in between each surface before everything was screwed together. I glued and I clamped these together, and I let it dry for like, I think overnight, if I remember correctly. And then, but within 20 minutes of the glue setting, I just zipped in screws, so that, because I already knew my clamps weren't very strong to begin with, so I knew that if I at least allowed the glue to set for 20 minutes and then zipped in some screws, it would hold tightly. And it did. So that's what I did. I glued in between each piece of wood. I let it sit for 20 minutes. I then bored the screws in, and then I let it dry for 24 hours. Keep in mind, when I did that, I did not attach the hinges yet. I attached the hinges the next day. So that's everything. So let's just go over it real quick, recap. 10 wood screws. You're going to need wood glue. Does not matter what brand. I don't care. You can go with Tight Bond. You can go with Gorilla Glue. Doesn't matter. 3/4 inch plywood. A piece of 2x4. 2 hinges. And then, as you can see here, bolts and nuts. So that is the finished product. So as you can see, it opens up, even props itself open because of how long the bolts are, which I thought was kind of a neat little feature, you know. But boom, that is my press. I was pretty impatient. I've been stressed out, so I just didn't even think that, oh yeah, they're gonna have an assignment on how to build a press, you know. And I don't know where I got this idea from, but I think I remember reading somewhere that there was an option that you could buy one too if you didn't want to build one. So I just assumed, like you shouldn't, I assumed that, oh, you know, maybe we're not gonna have an assignment on like how to build the press or something. Like maybe they just don't care. Like maybe they just want you to have the option of buying one or building one. Either way, like you could buy one for, you could buy $100 press kit, pre-made, pre-built for you. Never had a problem, never have an issue, have it shipped right to your door. But honestly, this costs $100 too, and it's essentially the same thing. So it really wouldn't have costed that much if I had most of the stuff laying around the house and if prices weren't so high. But it did. It cost me like, I don't know, $110, $120 for everything. I didn't have anything, though. I didn't have anything. The only thing I had was the wood screws and the wood glue. Everything else I had to source myself. So that's why it costed so much. I probably could have saved some more money if I had everything, laying by, but I just didn't. I didn't have the proper cutting utensils. I didn't have any measuring stuff. I didn't have anything. I just don't work with wood. I'm not a woodworker, so I had to accumulate some things to quickly do it. So I was like, oh, I might as well just build it before, it ever comes about. So it just stressed me out. I should have waited. I should have been patient. I should have built it for this. But honestly, when I think about it, I don't know how I would have built it, especially on camera. I videotape off of my phone, so I don't have like a third person that can just follow me around, or a tripod that can, be set up somewhere. But yeah, let's just go over everything again. So resources, tools needed, and then the final press. So just do one more final span of it. As you can see, this is not like, it's not dimensionally sound. I only made sure it was dimensionally sound from the backside and the edges. I didn't care that the bottom plate was going to overlap the top plate, because in all reality, I mean, this is the bottom plate and it's going to be sitting on a tabletop anyway, so it's okay. It doesn't matter. So I wasn't too critical on that point. But there it is, guys. Kind of hard to fit it all in view, but there is my press for this week's assignment. Hopefully that works out. But yeah, this is the press I'll be using to make my holster for my my Smith & Wesson. So because I'm going to be also showing it on camera, we're going to keep our fingers clear of the trigger, and I'm also going to show you that it is clear. So that is the magazine follower. It's orange, blaze orange, very easy to see. If we tilt it, nothing in the bore you can see. We'll also remove the magazine, toss it out, cycle the action some, safe firearm. But this is the gun that I'll be using to make my holster. So I've already decided I'm going to be doing a taco style, and the kit doesn't come with an outside the waistband mount, so I had to order from knifekits.com an additional outside the waistband mount, which I already did. I got that shipped and it's already here. So I got everything ready to go. I just rushed everything. So I got the paddle mounts, I got the press built, and I also, because I'm a little crazy, I went about starting my blocking, like for the actual gun. So this part will go on this side because I'm right-handed, so I want the mounting bracket for the mount to be on the left side of the firearm. So I've got that covered. I've even carved out a little piece for my trigger guard, so that'll fit in perfectly, literally like so. It's amazing what you can do with the Dremel. I also got this piece. I forgot what it was called. But as you can see there. What else? What else do I got? I got this little piece of wood that I am thinking about putting on the top because there's a little gap there. It might not interfere with anything though. And then I also got this. I have a piece carved out, corners notched out, everything, and that fits right in there. So I've even got the blocking all figured out. For the sights on the top, I think I'm just gonna take 2 dowels, set them side by side adjacent to each other to make this top surface, one. Tape it all down and it should work out just fine. So I got the molding, I've got my firearm picked out, I've got the mounts that I need, press built, everything. So there we go, little extra even. I even just stumbled upon the instructions, so let's just skim over those real quick. Why not? Put the press aside. So every time you get a box from SDI, you're gonna get a packing list. So this is just a list telling you like, hey, everything's in the box. Person signs it, great. But these are the instructions, so let me just read that real quick. It says, do not build the press before the start of the course. So clearly I just disregarded that. So that's my bad. It says you will be building a press for week 1 and 2's assignments. Additionally, please note that the molding press is described in the appendix on the textbook is sized for 12 by 12 inch foam. The foam that is sent to you from SDI is a 12 by 8 inch dimensions, which needs to be altered if you choose to make this molding press utilizing the foam that was sent to you. Not necessarily. I tend to disagree, but it's okay. Although my impatience and the stress built up, I'm just happy I got it done. I got it built. I got everything I need to do it, so I'm just happy. It's okay. I hope this is suffice. I hope this does okay. If not, it's not the end of the world. But there it is. There's my press built. That's all the resources I needed to do it. That's how I did it. That's how I went along about doing it, because I didn't have the proper stuff. Yeah. I am going to end it there. This is pretty lengthy. So, thank you very much.